you feel your heartbeat pumping? They're gonna keep on coming till you send them up and swoop. There will be
something special in the air now. You gonna take what belongs to you. Rivalry is the lifeblood of college football. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. Oh my goodness. There goes Gator up in the air. Touchdown. Can you believe what you just saw?
At Ohio State.
Happy game day here in Columbus, Ohio this fine Saturday. It is week 1 for a top 5 matchup between the second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes and the 5th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Has the Buckeyes defense improved from an unimpressive showing last season? We know that the offense is pretty good. I mean, they got C.J. Stroud. On the other side is Notre Dame's starting new quarterback ready for the big stage, and they've got a new coach. We've got thoughts on all that and more. And there's a lot of good signs out there, guys. I mean, look at this.
There are.
I didn't peak in high school. Marcus Freeman signs. Listen, guys, it's lit. Ohio State always comes back. Last season, you already know what it is. Welcome to Countdown to College Gameday, presented by Dr. Pepper. Christine Williamson here with my guys, the Harrys. Guys, you excited? I mean, this is the first time we're in front of a crowd. It's a great day.
Yes, it's great.
It's a little exciting. Outside, we're a little muggy. Excited about this matchup?
Yeah, completely. I mean, look at this crowd. How could you not be excited?
Yeah. I mean, the signs are okay.
That's what I'm excited about. The atmosphere. Can y'all make some noise? Hold on, Christine. I got to draw really quick. OH! They're ready.
There it is.
They're ready.
Okay, we like to start every single show with something that we call the Big Three. Lyles, I'm going to let you start it off because obviously there's a lot to look forward to in each one of the college football seasons.
For me, it's USC. It's the hype around USC, and can they live up to that? The anticipation and everything that they have. Obviously, we know that they're going to be fun on offense, right? Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison. I really think Jordan Addison is going to have even a bigger year than he did last year, and he was already the Biletnikoff Award winner. When you have a quarterback like Caleb Williams, I think that is an upgrade over Kenny Pickett. Defensively, they did not make the same sort of upgrades. I think that is something that people are not necessarily taking into account just because they are going to be fun to watch offensively, but are you going to outscore everybody every week? I don't know that they're going to be able to do that with their defense. Another thing with this team that I'm very curious about is, can Lincoln Riley fix the culture? When we did Pitt, West Virginia earlier this week, Keaton Slovis told us one of the reasons that he wanted to leave USC and go to Pitt was to find a better culture, find something that's more team-oriented. So can Lincoln Riley fix what's already there? That's what I'm curious to see.
I mean, I feel like they obviously understand the culture in Oklahoma. You got them as the favorite coming out of the Pac-12?
USC? Yeah. No, I have Utah.
Okay.
And that's my big thing.
You were gonna. Okay.
My big thing is Utah. So look at this Utah team, but their schedule. You have 2 games where you're going to play USC. You're also going to play Oregon. But there's a trap game on their schedule against UCLA. A lot of people aren't giving UCLA a lot of credit. This team went 8-4 last year, and I have that as the trap game for the Utah Utes.
Okay, so my big thing is something that we were talking about all offseason, right? Obviously, Georgia won the national championship last year, and then they lost 15 guys, 11 on defense, and we talked about that defense a lot, how it was a bunch of grown men. They lost Jordan Davis. They lost a lot of guys, right? And some of the biggest guys on the defense. And it'll be very interesting to see. Obviously, they're playing Oregon, and Dan Lanning is there. So, I mean, if any team knows them, it's Dan Lanning's team. So, we'll see what exactly happens. Okay, guys. Now, the 17th-ranked Utah Utes will have their first big test this afternoon. They're playing Florida. I feel like it's more of a test for Florida. Florida knows it's going to be an absolute problem.
It has to be on display tonight. You brought up a great point about
Pasadena dreams will be realized for the Utah Utes, emphatic champions of the Pac-12.
Playing a team that's well regarded, that has significant veteran players returning, that's good for our team.
The biggest difference between Cam last year and this year was his arm strength. He's throwing the deep ball much better, has more zip on all his passes.
He's a great pocket passer, and he's a little sneaky runner. They're a big run-heavy team on first down, so we got to go out there and play grimy football and stop the run.
We can simulate crowd noise, but until you get into the atmosphere, we're not going to really know what to expect. We're just going to have to deal with it.
Championship teams went on the road, so that's the statement we want to make.
Okay, as obviously you know, we mentioned Utah versus Florida, and HG, I know you're kind of high on Anthony Richardson, whether or not he's a good quarterback for the Florida Gators. What do you think about it?
Well, so I thought Anthony Richardson last year should have been the guy, right? They decided to go with Emory Jones, but when I look at a guy, I think about Cam Newton, 6'4", about 230 pounds. I think he's more athletic than Cam Newton, but if he can be accurate, he can be consistent. I think this Florida team can make some noise now. Running back wise, they have short at the wide receiver position. They're going to have some deficiencies, but when you have a quarterback of his caliber that can run, that can throw the ball, have a strong arm, I think he can make up for a lot of those deficiencies that they do have.
And honestly, excuse me, he told us at SEC Media Day that he feels more confident with the fact that he knows it's his job. He's getting to start from the beginning, and he's going to be able to ride this thing out. And you talk about his size. Out of all the players that we saw at SEC Media Day, like, he is up there with, like that is a big dude. So, like, when you talk about going up against a Utah defense that is going to be one of the better defenses in the country, you need a quarterback like an Anthony Richardson when you're still trying to figure everything else out, because I do think that it is going to take some time with Florida.
Yeah, all right, so that game's going to be 80 degrees outside. I mean, obviously, Utah's used to the heat. It's going to be 80% humidity, too, which, like, what does that mean? Like, 100% means, like, water. So who do you think wins this game and why?
I'm going to go with Utah because of their experience. You look at Cameron Rise in the quarterback position, Treveyon Thomas. I love him as a running back, but defensively, right? How are they going to replace Devin Lloyd? Well, they have a transfer from Florida in the linebacker position, Mohamed Diabate. So they're going to play him in that linebacker position. Now, he's not going to be able to beat Devin Lloyd because Devin Lloyd led them in everything defensively in every category, but I think he can hold the fort down.
Yeah, I'm going Utah as well. I mean, we saw basically the meat of this team go up against these Ohio State Buckeyes in the Rose Bowl. And they looked like the better team for most of that game until ultimately they lost control of that one. But I think right now where that program's at, where Florida is trying to get to, Utah's going to take this one.
All right, you can watch that game on ESPN at 7 p.m. But we're going to be ready for this matchup. Obviously, Ohio State versus Notre Dame. I don't know if you guys know this, but something happened in college football yesterday. It's kind of a big deal, right? You guys know what happened?
It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. So we have our guy, Pete Thamel, to join us to talk about this, because now the playoff, in 2026 at least, we know that the playoff will expand to 12 teams. And Pete, you broke the news yesterday. What exactly were you hearing?
Well, Christine, it's a historic day in college football, a historic weekend. The college football playoff is going from 4 teams to 12. It's going to start with certainty in 2026. We'll find out in the next few weeks if that can start in 2025 or 2024. There's some logistics and contracts that need to be plowed through, but money's a powerful motivator. So you have to think they've left $500 million almost on the table when they didn't expand. The president's quite frankly said, forget this, forget your commissioner infighting. We're going to get this playoff done, and that's what we have now, a 12-team college football playoff, the same model that had been proposed last summer.
So can you tell us a little bit about the format? Because I know some of it was laid out, but then I also saw that if you are a team that is supposed to be hosting a game, you could choose to play it on a neutral site. Is that correct?
Yes, Harry. So it's a really interesting nuance to this playoff. There will be home field games. That's never happened in the college football playoff before any real postseason. So here's like an example for, say, if Ohio State was the 5th seed and they were going to host a game and they didn't want to play outside in the elements, they could potentially play in Indianapolis. Not Detroit, because we know they wouldn't want to go to Michigan.
Yeah.
But they could play in Indianapolis to have the indoor. They can set the venue.
So, Pete, I got to ask you, what does this mean for conferences like the ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, who beforehand, when it was a 14 playoff, they was on the outside looking in? What does that mean for them moving forward?
I think think here it's huge for their stability. We're in a very chaotic time right now in college sports, and those leagues now say you can come here and play for a playoff bid. It's the 6th highest rated conference champions. So those teams are pretty much going to be included every year if you just look back statistically. So I think it's a life preserver for those leagues in a lot of ways, and it's a way for them to stay relevant and vibrant because they're always going to be part of the conversation, even though monetarily they're not competing with the Power 2.
I do want to ask about, obviously we know that this change will for sure happen in 2026. We want it to happen a little bit sooner, but there's something that has to happen in order for it to do that. You said it's complicated. What exactly needs to happen?
Yeah, Christine, so essentially it's a 14 playoff right now. ESPN has the contract to that playoff. It becomes an 11-game playoff at that point. So it goes from 3 to 11. There likely will be a preference to have multiple television shooters in that. So the expansion of that and then how it's divvied up is one thing. The other thing is there's 2 host cities involved. They're going to have to change the calendar. So our hotel's available, our game venue's available. There are a lot of logistics that go into throwing huge events like this. But my hunch is when the money's on the table, they find a way to get it done.
Oh, that means money talks.
Always.
Money talks.
These fans here.
Oh, yes.
I'm curious for you guys because a lot of the conversation has been whether or not we should expand. And a lot of people had their, obviously they want players to be able to be healthy and stuff like that. AC, what do you think about the expansion? What do you think about the expansion?
Well, I love it. I think it's good for college football. When you look at bowl games now and you have players basically going to get drafted in the first round, they're not playing in them. So now you go to 12 teams, they have an opportunity to actually play in those games, compete for a national championship, and that's pretty much where it lies in my book.
Yeah. I think, Christine, one thing to remember, take Purdue, for example. They're a middle-of-the-road Big Ten team. They lose their opener in heartbreaking fashion the other night. If you're Jeff Brom in this new system, you can walk into your locker room Monday and say, hey, guys, our goals are all still in front of us. Let's go win the West. We can beat Team 12. There's about 25 to 30 teams who midway through October say, hey, if we win the rest of our games, we can get in. So in some sense, I think it juices the regular season for those who are vibrant and relevant.
And it kind of reminds me of the NFL, right? It doesn't matter where you are, 1 through 7. You just want to get into the tournament.
Yes.
It's a lot of times I played in Atlanta. We had Green Bay with the last seed come into the Georgia Dome at the time as we was the 1 seed, took us out, went on to win the Super Bowl. So anything can happen once you get into the tournament.
And honestly, I think a lot of people's biggest concern with this was, are we going to get the home games? Are we going to get on-campus games? And I think that is particularly important for this format just because, sites like this, that's part of what makes college football great. And that's what makes the atmosphere awesome, and that's what you want to see if you are going to expand the playoff.
Think about Camp Randall Stadium on a December Saturday night. Snow coming down. Everybody's
around, Paul. Jump around,
Let's go. That's exciting. I get chills thinking about that. Think about Notre Dame Stadium. Yes. I'd say think about the Horseshoe. Now, they think they should probably have a bye every year because they're that good. But there are going to be some unbelievable environments that are hosting these games, and we're going to see the best of college football in those environments.
It will also really rejuvenate college football. I think about bowl season and guys bowing out early for the NFL draft, obviously. Add some rejuvenation to the regular season and to the end of the season. Thank you so much, Pete.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks so much, Pete. Okay, so obviously, Pete Thamel breaking the news right here. You broke that news yesterday. What we have coming up on the show, week 1 delivers. Again, we have 3 big ranked matchups, including the big one here in Columbus between Ohio State and Notre Dame. David Pollack is going to join us to break down all the action. Also, the Buckeyes are honoring their 2002 national championship team today. Joining us, we have the electric freshman from that team, Maurice Clarett.
Take over as DC.
Playing hard, we're playing fast, not reacting, we're coming at you.
The guys are really just flying around. You're going to see a bunch of different looks. Disguised coverages, a lot of moving parts.
The challenges are seeing the pressures, and the most important thing for me is giving myself and my teammates, opportunities to make plays.
Buckner throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame!
You can really run the football, then it opens up the passing game, and then we have Tyler who can do a lot back there, so we're really dynamic.
They're a tough team. Feel like they're probably going to try to run the ball on us. Got to out-tough them.
They do a good job with their scheme, they do a good job with their coaching, and they're very good athletes, so we're going to have to bring it.
My name is DJ Rob Swift, straight from New York City.
David Pollack,
and I'll be taking you guys to the 9 a.m. hour.
saw Michigan, you saw Utah. It ain't like it changed that much either. So the defense is the question mark. Did they get better? Did they address it? A new DC doesn't mean I'm going to be better all the time. So they've got good players. Usually they got better players than most people they play. Let's see if they're more organized, because if I'm Notre Dame, I'm running the football and I'm trying to shorten the game as much as possible.
Notre Dame Friday night, I'll show you guys out there.
Jim Knowles was at Oklahoma State. On third down, sometimes he double-teamed Michael Mayer. Also, they played a lot of quarters coverage. The flat was open, the sidelines. Do you think that's something that will benefit them tonight in this football game?
If you watched Ohio State last year, they struggled with easy things. The hard things, like how to address bunch sets. I don't expect that anymore. I think Ohio State will be really organized. And then there's no denying their talent. Like, nobody ever looked at Ohio State and went, man, they suck.
Yeah.
Like, you looked at them and you go, they got dudes, but they're not lined up correctly. I don't think you'll have near the unforced errors, mistakes, with like lineups. You'll see all kinds of defenses. But you're going to see three safety looks like they just saw in the Big 12. That's who Jim Knowles is. But a lot of what you see pre-snap, what you see pre-snap is not what you see post-snap. Changing the picture. That's what Jim Knowles is going to do.
All right, I was talking about CJ Stroud because he is like everybody's expecting him to come in. How do you feel like
That boy, good. I mean, it's pretty simple. Last year was the first year for him in the offense. First year throwing college passes. He threw 44 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I'm not real good at math. That's pretty dang good. Like, the Rose Bowl, he's still completing passes. He threw for 600 yards almost, 6 touchdowns. I think he's going to set the world on fire. His anticipation, his touch, like, is really, really next level. It's not like all these Buckeye quarterbacks that have had a lot of success. Yeah, we can go to Haskins, we can go to Fields. Right. He's got anticipation and sees it and feels it before most people in college football.
You're not good at math?
Huh?
You're not good at math?
No. I'm good at math. I wouldn't be either.
Okay, let's talk about your dogs. Obviously, they lost a lot of guys on
Is that why you're wearing that red with the red lipstick? Georgia?
No.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry.
It's not red. This is scarlet. Do you know where we are?
That's red. That is not scarlet. That's not the same color. Look, that's not the same. That's red. Yeah. What is it? It's red. It's red. It's red. Just saying. He said it.
Okay, let's go. Obviously, they lost 15 guys last season, right? They lost a huge chunk of their defense. How do you expect them? Do you expect them to have any championship hangover? How do you expect them to go into the season?
I get a kick out of it. Like, listen, I know Georgia's talented, and I know they've recruited well. It's weird. I can actually hear you again. I know they're talented. I know they've recruited well. But how do we expect 15 draft picks to be replaced?
Yeah.
5 first-round picks on defense. 5. Like, oh, yeah, sure, just plug in the next guy. I ain't buying it. Like, and I think Bo Nix, if you've watched Bo Nix, he's got some craziness to him. He'll scramble around. He'll extend plays. He'll make plays, get you extra first down. So I expect Georgia's defense to take a lot of steps back this season. They'll still be a top 30 D, but they're going to double their output from a year ago. They give up 10 points a game. If they give up 20, they're still elite. That was just stupid last year. What we saw was stupid. It was the best front 7 in the history of college football.
So do you think with what they're going to be able to do offensively, do you think that they could kind of meet where the defense is going to lose what they had from last year? Because obviously that was a historically great defense, but when you look at all the weapons on offense, I mean, how could you not like what you see?
It's stupid, especially between Eric Gilbert, who now comes. Brock Bowers proved himself pretty well. I think he's pretty good. And then you got Darnell Washington. So you got the best tight end room. We're going to argue whether this is the best tight end room you've ever seen. Maybe Miami when you had Shockey, Winslow, some of those guys. But so it makes it easy on the QB. I said something positive about that.
I know, you never did, so I had to
But it makes it easy. But here's the thing about Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett makes it go. Like last year, Stetson Bennett, you know what he was? Here's a question for you. What was Stetson Bennett ranked last year in QBR in the country?
I think it was top 3, wasn't it?
Just guess.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Wow, that's
CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett.
Top 3.
But everybody's going bench the dude. Well, why is the mailman? Because he's small. Because he was a walk-on. That's why. Like Stetson, JT Daniels, by the way, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. JT Daniel, 89 quarterback rating. Like he was good at Georgia. Stetson Bennett was better. That's why he played. So I get a kick out of the Stetson Bennett conversation. But the tight end room is great. You got guys on the outside that can burn. Ladd McConkey is a stud. I think he's a really good player.
He is.
But Arian Smith, first day with my new mouth. Arian Smith, you know, is a 10-200 guy on the outside. A.D. Mitchell, who caught the touchdown pass in the championship game, is only better than he was. So I think this offense takes many steps forward. It's an offense that becomes more explosive.
I think the one thing that we've been talking about a lot is the fact that Dan Lanning obviously went from Georgia as a DC and then went to Oregon, and that's one guy that knows this Georgia defense and Georgia team more than anybody else. How do you expect that to factor into this matchup?
Well, I think it helps, because Todd Monken is the OC for Georgia.
Yeah.
They win against each other every day.
Yeah.
So they both know each other. But here's the thing: Dan Lanning and going to Oregon, you got a bunch of new pieces. You don't know what they're going to be.
Yeah.
He knows what Brock Bowers does well.
Exactly.
He knows what Darnell Washington does, and Eric Gilbert and Ladd all those guys we just talked about. He knows Monken likes to script plays, and he knows Monken doesn't like to repeat plays. Like, all this stuff is going to be, stuff that he already knows and he's very familiar. I'm interested to watch Oregon with Lanning.
Yeah.
They got a couple of linebackers, Justin Fuller and big old Noah Sewell, who is a grown man. He's a gam. He's a grown-ass man. Like those guys, I think they're going to be really good with Lanning and blitzing like you saw with Tyndall and Carter and Nakobe Dean last year.
Okay, let's talk about Arkansas-Cincinnati, because obviously Cincinnati went to the CFP last year. It was a big deal. They're ranked 23rd. A lot of people think that they shouldn't be ranked in the top 25, which is another conversation. But what do you think the biggest challenge is for Cincinnati going into this
When you say a lot of people, what do you think they should be ranked?
I've heard people.
Do you think they should be ranked in the top 25?
I feel like no. Okay. Because they lost a lot of key pieces, but I feel like you can't have them all in the top 25. They had a
Ohio State makes it nation Bulldogs.
9 draft picks. Georgia, Bama, and Cincinnati were the top 3 teams in for the drafted players. So a ton of
ladies
at Arkansas.
You guys know we got Jack Harlow coming later, right?
I think Arkansas makes a statement today. I think this is one of those bets that it's -6.5. Like, I'm not.
You guys want some Jack Harlow shorts?
I would probably jump on the Arkansas.
What kind of year do you think KJ Jefferson's going to have? Because obviously the tools were there last year. They're expecting him to take a leap this year. What do you think you're going to see out of him?
Well, and if he does, Arkansas will be scared because he is. You're speaking of that dude's grown too. He's 6'3", 6'4", 250, quick, can make people miss, can run through you, throws a good deep ball. But he's just he wasn't a passer in the intermediate area. If he develops his touch and he gets that as big and strong as he is, and as much as he makes you spin safeties down to defend his legs, he'd be difficult to stop, man. And that could be a team in the West who, again, keeping Barry Odom was a big deal. Like, that guy could go get a head coaching gig somewhere. Keeping Browse, Kendall Browse on the other side. He could be a head coach somewhere. So keeping that staff together for Pittman, I think, is a big deal.
They got 2 transfers, a wide receiver position. I think it's going to be huge. Hazelwood and Landers. Those 2 guys, and KJ Jefferson, if he can be consistent, be more accurate in the intermediate game, I think Arkansas can make some noise.
Well, and what he does is throw a deep ball great. But Traylon Burks, that was his strong point. So Hazelwood fill that role and be a burner on the outside, because if you're going to always play him in the run game, I'm going to get one-on-ones on the outside. And he did a good job last year taking advantage of those.
What's your favorite Jack Harlow song?
I don't even know one.
Let me hear you say hell
You should have done your research. You know he's going to be here today.
Say
You have to do your research. You have to be able to bop your head along the
But here's this. When you fly, because I rode the plane with you, when you fly what? First class? First class. There you go, man. That's one of his biggest songs.
He took a sample.
It's the sample,
Yeah.
Okay,
He knows the music. All right, Pollack.
Hey, man, y'all are the young guys, okay? I'm the old guy, all right?
You're not that old. You're not that old. It's fine. It's fine. All right, thanks, Pollack. We'll see you later on Game Day. Okay, coming up on Game Day at 9:25 a.m. Of the 2021 Ryan Day said there are some scars there. To the Buckeyes head coach joins the show live to talk expectations for this season. Then at 10:35 a.m., we'll find out what's poppin' when Jack Harlow makes a first-class appearance live on Game Day. You don't want to miss that one. I mean, you see what I did there? I actually didn't do that. I didn't write that. Then at 11:20 a.m., fans here will love this. Head coach of that school up north, Jim Harbaugh, sits down with Gene Wojciechowski to talk about his offseason and what it was like to finally beat the Buckeyes. Mentioned we were going to have a very special guest join us today, and we have the star and record-setting freshman from the 2002. That's 20 years. I'm not going to make you feel old, but that is 20 years. We got Maurice Clarett here with us. Okay, so I mean, 20 years. I feel like that's ago. What do you remember from that day?
20 years ago, we won the championship. I don't know. We had a reunion last night. I don't remember. It was a ton of effort, a ton of close games, a ton of people putting it all on the line, ridiculously long practices, and fans like this, people who appreciated what we did and showing up every week.
You still lift weights?
Yeah, 20 years ago, you look like, I mean, you could go out there right now if you want to.
You play the running back position. You have a guy in Treveyon Henderson who can do it in the run game and the pass game. You look at the history of running backs at Ohio State University, the Ohio State, right? When you see Treveyon, what do you think he can rank when he's all said and done?
I said this last night. I think he could end up being probably the best, or one of the best, like you would say, top 3. And the reason I said, just from a football perspective, he has all the pieces around him to create the box that he needs. He won't have 8 guys in the box, right? We have so many number 1 wide receivers that they can stretch the field. Not only bring linebackers back, but bring safeties back. You have C.J. Stroud who can throw the ball everywhere, and he's a very talented guy. So that creates lanes. And if you see him last year, I think it was like a game in Indiana, he had like 4 or 5 rushes for like 150 yards. So when you have a running back who can take it out the backfield and run 60, 70 yards, do it at a crack, you have to figure last year he was a young guy, probably didn't know too much. Like if he becomes a dangerous guy, you can rack up yards like that fairly easy.
And look, I know we're here for this game, but as somebody who loves the history of college football, I got to know 2 things from you. One, who was your favorite teammate? And in 2002, when y'all were playing Miami, who was the one person on that defense where you saw him and you were like, I don't know if I want to get hit by that guy?
I think the first one.
Ohio State Buckeyes, you guys gearing up for Jack Harlow?
These are 2 guys who
want some shirts?
Like nasty football, like dirty guys.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
I was like, for the camera. That reminds me of football. And it was like rest in peace to Sean Taylor. You know, I think everybody who ever seen Sean Taylor play or hit, you know, you respected his game and you got to see what he did over time. But the hits that hurt you as a running back are the hits that you don't see, and oftentimes you don't see the strong safety. And so I was telling myself that game, if I break through the line, I got to find him.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, rest in peace, Sean Taylor. Okay, let's talk about this team, this Ohio State team. C.J. Stroud, right? He's a Heisman favorite. What do you like the most?
Ladies, y'all still out there, make some noise.
Ball placement. I think when I started paying attention to him last year, everything.
Fellas, y'all still out there, make some noise.
Just leadership ability. And these are things that just says.
How about my Buckeyes over there to my left, make some noise.
Confidence is a guy shaking out. And when you see him out there, he just looks comfortable. He looks calm. Every time I've seen him in the media, like he's not trying to play a game. He's been himself. And stuff like that translates into great play. And he's had a ton of success last year, so I think that his confidence is only going to grow and become more who he is.
So, I mean, your Ohio State Buckeyes, they're ranked 2nd in the nation. You think they're going to be able to do it this season?
Yeah, I think so. One thing I want to see, like everybody else, I want to see the defense get better. We brought the gentleman in from Oklahoma State, and obviously Oklahoma State has some success in the defense last year. Hopefully, he can do the same for the Buckeyes. I told him that if he did the job, then I'll fire him. Hopefully, we get it done, but we'll have all the firepower on offense to put us in the chance to win.
What's it like coming back?
Yeah, this is beautiful, man.
You're in the show. This year, the 100th anniversary for the show. It's a big deal. I mean, what's it like coming back and just being here?
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, you look around, these people going crazy. As a player, you don't get a chance to appreciate like this when you're playing, just because you're so focused on what you have to do. But this is history. This is tradition. This is culture. This is what makes college football.
So what's your prediction? The score. I want the prediction. I want the prediction. I want the score. I want Maurice Clarett to let me know his prediction. What's the score going to be today?
What's the score? So Marcus, I love you. Marcus Freeman's my guy. But I'm thinking, let's say 49, so maybe 14.
Oh, wow. I like it, though.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
The game is this week. We all pick one player, get points to get normal fantasy football scoring. But the fact is, we have watch, guys. We gotta watch some football. It's gonna be a great night. You excited? Yeah, exactly. It's week one. It's week one. It's lit out here. Go watch Game Day. Go watch all of the college football this year, or today, this week. Thanks for watching Countdown to College Game Day, presented by Dr. Pepper.
Bye.